How's it going, Rogues Gallery, and welcome to another Flesh and Blood video. It is still Monarch spoiler season, and that is the topic of today's video. We're going to be diving deep into a lot of spoilers today. There's a lot of stuff to cover, several days worth of spoilers, and I'm super stoked for it. But before we get started, I do want to mention that today's video is brought to you by FAB, the premier Flesh and Blood deck building and database website. I use them for deck building and all that kind of stuff. I highly recommend you use them as well. Links in the description down below. But without further ado, let's get started with today's video. We're gonna dive deep into the spoilers here. Let's go ahead and pull up all of the people who helped spoil the cards that we're gonna talk about today. We're gonna talk about all of the cards from the 16th, the 17th, the 18th, and the 19th. Kind of a lot. So you can kind of see them all here. We're not going to go over all of them individually, but these are all of the fantastic folks who support Flesh and Blood, and you know, gotta spoil some excellent stuff for Monarch. So definitely check all of their spoilers out in your own time. Yeah, like I said, we got a lot to cover today. So let's kick back, and by kick back, I'm gonna lean a little forward, and we're going to get to it. So today, the first one I want to talk about is Sir Bolton, Breaker of Dawn. This dude is awesome. Not only is he just a really cool character, he's really good. Warrior didn't need more new great stuff, and guess what? They got a lot more great stuff. So Sir Bolton, Breaker of Dawn, is a light warrior hero. He does have 4 intellect and a 40 life total. He says, if you've charged this turn, attacks you control have +1 attack while defended by an attack action card. So if you have charged this turn, all your attacks, not just weapon attacks, not just attack action, all of your attacks get a +1 if they're defended by an attack action card. So it's very specific stuff here. Attack action card. And he also has attack reaction. Banish a card from Sir Bolton's soul. Target attack with power or attack greater than its base attack gains go again. So if you are able to pump up a card, for example, any kind of attack, it's just target attack. So it can do attack cards, attack action cards. You can do weapons, and just a great way to give them go again. So he has a built-in way to give weapons go again. So is he better than Dorinthia? I don't know. I don't know if he's better than Dorinthia, but he's really good. I think he's a lot more versatile than Dorinthia for sure. And he has the light attribute, which means he can use all of the sweet light cards. Next up, we have just Bolton. So this is his like his young version. So for blitz and draft and all that kind of stuff. Fantastic, just really good. I love the lady in the background, by the way. She looks like she's totally checking him out. Anyway, let's continue on. Next up, we have Lumina Ascension. This card is sweet. This card's really sweet. So this is a Bolton specialization. This is a light warrior action with a 3 defense. It has a 2 pitch value, so yellow pitch value, cost of 0. And it says, until end of turn, weapons you control gain +1 attack. And if this hits, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a light card, put it into your hero's soul and gain 1 life. Otherwise, put it on the bottom of your deck. If you've charged this turn, you may attack an additional time with each weapon you control. Each weapon you control. That's crazy. If you're dual wielding, you can hit 4 times, dude. 4 times. This is pretty good. I will also note that Bolton's specialization is just a specialization. It's not a legendary specialization like Chain and Levia. So I don't know why the light heroes don't have the legendary ones and the shadow heroes do, but this seems pretty good. It seems really good. Yeah, we'll talk about charge when we get there. We have some cards to have charge here. I'm just going in order, by the way. I'm just going in order of like collector number because there's a lot of stuff to cover here. Next up, we have V of the Vanguard. Once again, really cool art. Bolton is a certifiable badass. This card is sweet too. This is a light warrior attack action, with a defense of 3, has a 3 base attack, has a cost of 1. This is another Bolton specialization. It says, as an additional cost to play V of the Vanguard, you may charge your hero's soul any number of times. And this is where it talks about like what soul is. And that means you put one card or one or more cards from your hand face up under your hero card. So this is kind of how you power up your soul. You charge your soul. Even though it's like charging into battle, it's also charging up your soul. And it says, attacks you control on this combat chain gain +1 attack for each light card charged this way. So this is a card you want to, lead off with, pump up some stuff, and then just have a massive combat chain where you attack, especially like following it up, maybe starting with the Lumina Ascension and then going into some crazy stuff like V of the Vanguard and then whacking it with your weapons and that kind of stuff. I think it's really good. Not much else to say. Great card. Both of his specializations are really, really good. Neither of them are legendary, which means you can have 3 in your deck, or 2 if you're playing Blitz. Yeah, Bolton seems really strong. He seems really strong, so I would not be surprised if we see, Bolton. We're going to see Bolton in competitive environments for sure. Next up, we have Express Lightning. This looks like Dorinthia. Even though the flavor text is not from Dorinthia, dude, I mean, she just looks like Dorinthia. So Express Lightning is a 0-cost light warrior action. I guess Dorinthia is not a light warrior. This is the red pitch version, has a 3 defense, 4 attack. So 0-cost 4 attack is pretty good by itself. And it says, as an additional cost to play Express Lightning, you may charge your hero's soul. So you don't have to do that. Even though it says it's an additional cost, you don't have to. You may do it as an additional cost. So this is just a good way to put a card from your hand face up into your hero and kind of like power up your soul. So pretty good. And we know that we want cards in our soul to power up other effects already, and this is just a pretty standard card. Doesn't have go again or anything like that, but pretty easy to play, pretty powerful. Yeah, not too bad. And this is the yellow version with 3 attack and the blue version with 2 attack. I mean, honestly, the red obviously is the best, but yeah, who knows? Next up, we have Courageous Steelhand. This is a 0-cost light warrior attack reaction with a defense of 2. And it says, if you've charged this turn, target attack gains +3. That's target attack. So you can do this on weapons. You can do this on attack actions, any attack. But it's only if you've charged. And I think you have to has the keyword charge. So Express Lightning has that you may charge your hero's soul. V of the Vanguard also says you may charge your hero's soul. So it has to have that, charge keyword to get the bonus from Courageous Steelhand. But it costs 0. That's super good. 0 for a +3 on a reaction is super good. So if you're able to consistently charge your hero, this is going to be really good. It's going to be I'm very curious to see what the other light hero is going to be and how well cards like this are going to, play into that. I think it's going to be great in Bolton if you have a lot of like charge synergy. Then we have the yellow, which is +2, and the blue, which is +1. I mean, just 0 cost is so good. It's super, super good. Yeah. Next up, we have Illuminate. First of all, I love the art in this card. This art is beautiful. I know a lot of people were hoping this would be one of the new heroes, like a cleric or a light wizard or something. Unfortunately, it is just a common light attack action. So cost is 0. This is the red pitch version. It says, if Illuminate hits, put it into your hero's soul. So this doesn't charge, but it still goes into your hero's soul, which is very interesting. So there's multiple ways of powering up your hero's soul. You can charge, but you also have other cards that go into your soul like this too. So it's also very interesting. And just a 0-cost for attack. Pretty good. It's pretty good. I don't know, like, it's hard to evaluate how much play something like Illuminate and like Express Lightning are going to see. Like how much play they're going to see, because we haven't seen the rest of the set, right? And we don't know how key these cards are going to be to these strategies, because just on surface value, they seem all right. 0-cost, 4 attack, seems all right. They don't have go again or anything like that, unless you can give it to them with Razor Reflex or Snapdragon Scalers or something like that. But I'm very curious. They're either going to see play, or, I mean, they're not, which is obvious, but, we don't know yet. Maybe. The stats are good enough, 0-cost, 4 attack, 3 defense. That's good enough. but is their effect good enough? Next up we have Illuminate, same thing. This is yellow pitch, 3 attack, and then the blue, as you would guess, 2 attack. I would imagine if any of these are good at all, it's going to be the red, because this one you specifically want to hit with it. Next up we have Impenetrable Belief. Impenetrable Belief, I can say it right. This card is very interesting. So it's a 2-cost card with a 5 attack. That's not a great going rate. You really want like 6 attack at a cost of 2, and also only has 2 defense, which is another kind of like, I don't know. But it has an interesting ability. So it says, if 3 or more cards have been put into the opposing hero's banished zone this turn, Impenetrable Belief gains +2 defense while defending. So this is a pretty good defensive card, but only if you're playing against someone who's doing a lot of banished shenanigans. So basically right now, only if your opponent is Shadow or a crazy wizard, in which case this wouldn't be good against wizard anyway. So, I mean, defending for 4 is pretty good, but, I mean, is this going to be better than playing just a defense reaction? Like, is this better than playing Sink Below or Fate Foreseen? No. No, not even. Even the flexibility of being able to attack, it's not better than just running a 0-cost defense reaction. But is it going to be good in limited? Yeah, this is pretty good in limited. It's a card that can attack. It's a card that can defend pretty well. Not too bad in limited, but in constructed, you want your decks to be a little bit more refined than this. And then obviously the yellow is 4 attack, and the blue is a measly 3 attack. Next up, we have Rising Solar Tide. I love the art on this card. I really want that center character to be like a main hero, the silver-haired giant Warcraft Pauldrons character. Oh man, it's cool. So it says, so it's a light attack action, cost 1, attack 5. That's what you want to see. Not this, not the 2-cost attack 5. You want the 1-cost attack 5. That's a good rate. With the defensive 3, also a good rate. And it says, if Rising Solar Tide hits, put it into your hero's soul. So very, very similar to Illuminate here, right? So Illuminate is a 0-cost 4. The Rising Solar Tide is a 1-cost 5. So it's very similar. It's just a scaled up version of that card. And obviously the yellow is going to be 4 attack, and the blue is going to be 3 attack. So once again, it's really hard to evaluate this. We don't know how good Soul is going to be. This one has to hit, but being able to swing for 5 for 1 is a pretty good rate. Since it only costs 1, you can still use it with Snapdragon Scalers. You can use it with Razor Reflex to give it go again. Like, it's a pretty good rate, right? So this card might see play. If this type of effect is something you really want, this is a card that would see play. So yeah, that's my evaluation of Rising Solar Tide. Next up, we have Seek Enlightenment. So this is a light action with a defense of 2. It's a red pitch version, costs 1. And it says, the next action card you play this turn gains +3 attack, and if this hits, put it into your hero's soul. So once again, a lot of these effects that put it into your hero's soul. Keep in mind that none of these are actually like the charge effect. These are putting into your hero's soul. They're not charge. So they don't proc that charge synergy that Bolton was laying down. But they still like power up your soul, which is presumably going to be really good. We've already seen some cards like the Celestial Cataclysm in the first video that I talked about, the first Monarch spoiler video, and that card's good. That card's really good. So being able to power up your soul for cards like that, pretty good. And also that book that lets you draw cards, pretty good. 1 cost +3 is a pretty good going rate. Once again, if you really want to put stuff in your soul and it's hard through other means, this card could be really good. Defending it for 2 is pretty rough though. And then obviously the yellow pitch is +2 attack, and the blue pitch is +1 attack. If any of these are going to be good, it's going to be the +3 and maybe the +2, but I can't really see the blue, or maybe not even the yellow, honestly. Next up, we have some weapons. We have Hatchet of Body and Hatchet of Mind, and I'm lumping these together because they're pretty much the same weapon. So Hatchet of Body says once per turn action, attack. Hatchet of Mind says once per turn action, attack. They both are warrior weapons, one-handed axes. They both have an attack of 2. Attack of 2. And then Hatchet of Body says, whenever you attack with Hatchet of Body, if Hatchet of Mind was the last attack this turn, Hatchet of Body gains +1 until end of turn. And then Hatchet of Mind is literally the same effect, just reversed. If Hatchet of Mind Whenever you attack with Hatchet of Mind, if Hatchet of Body was the last attack this turn, Hatchet of Mind gets +1. So they're basically the same card, right? So if you attack with Hatchet of Body and then followed up with the Hatchet of Mind, the second attack gets a +1. You know, Hatchet of Mind gets +1. You attack with Hatchet of Mind first, and then you attack with Hatchet of Body. Hatchet of Body gets a +1. Currently, there's no reason to attack with one over the other one first. They do the same thing. They're just kind of like ways to pump up. Are they better than the Centauri Sabers? I don't know. Maybe we'll have to see. But they seem interesting. They seem interesting. So yeah. I mean, maybe like Bolton, where you like a +1 until end of turn. I mean, it does get +1 until end of turn, right? So it doesn't just get the +1 until the end of the phase, or for the attack, right? It doesn't just get the +1 for the attack. It gets the +1 for the whole turn. So that's important to note for both of them. So if you can attack multiple times with both of these, so you say you attack with Hatchet Body, then you attack with Mind, right? Mind gets a +1. Then you attack again with Hatchet of Body. Hatchet Body gets a +1. And then you attack again with the Hatchet of Mind, and it gets another +1. And that stacks, so that one would be coming in for 4. So, you know, we saw Bolton's ability, his, we're going to go all the way back to Lumina Ascension, and you may attack an additional time with each weapon you control. Pretty good, right? Pretty good. So I can see something like that with his, the Lumina Ascension being good with these cards. So, yeah, I think they might have a place over the Centauri Sabers. Ooh, okay, here we go. Next up, we have Shadow of Ursa. This is a Shadow Runeblade attack action with a defense of 3, cost of 0, and this is a blue pitch card, which is amazing. It only has attack of 2, but we don't care about that. This says, you may play Shadow of Ursa from your banished zone. As an additional cost to play Shadow of Ursa, you may banish a card with Blood Debt from your hand. If you do, Shadow of Ursa gains Go Again, and it also has Blood Debt. This card is amazing. This is everything you want to do in Chain. And you definitely want to play this with Chain. You could technically play it with Levia too, but this is for Chain, right? Chain summons Ursa. We're going to talk about Ursa today, by the way. We've seen him. But this card's amazing. This is going to be a Windmill Slam 3 of in the Chain deck. You can play it for 0 from your banished zone. You can make it get Go Again by fueling more banished shenanigans. This is everything you want to do in a Chain style deck. So this card's really good. I need 3 of them. I need 3 of them to play in my Chain deck. Next up, we have Dimensional Crossroads with 2 X's. 2 X's. Very like Lovecraftian or like Stargate or whatever. This is a yellow pitch card with a cost of 2, a defense of 3. This is a Shadow Runeblade Aura with Go Again. So it's an aura, so it stays around on the field. It also has a really weird ability, which I think is actually really cool. It says, whenever you play an attack action card or a non-attack action card from your banished zone, if you haven't played another card of that type this turn, deal 1 arcane damage to target hero. If you lose a life during your turn, destroy Dimensional Crossroads. Damage causes a loss of life. So this is a very interesting card. It's kind of like a engine combo type card where you want to have cards in your banished zone, but you want to play them all so you don't get hit with Blood Debt. Because if you get hit with Blood Debt on your turn, this card goes away. So it's a good way to keep dealing damage to your opponent continually over turns, but you're forced to play all of your Blood Debt stuff, basically. It's very interesting. Is it going to be good? This one is not as immediately apparent as Shadow of Ursa. Shadow of Ursa is good. Shadow of Ursa is fantastic. Shadow Runeblade. Oh, did I say Levia could play with this? It's a Shadow Runeblade, so only Chain can play this. I apologize if I made that mistake earlier. But yeah, Dimensional Crossroads. I don't know. I think it's going to be a meme card, to be honest. I think it's going to be a meme card. I love the art. Absolutely love the art. It's very like classical, actually, in style, with all like these bodies. And anyway, card is cool. Card's super cool. Is it good? I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Next up, we have Unhollowed Rites. This is a Shadow Runeblade attack action, defense of 3. This is the red pitch version, cost 1 to play, attack 4, pretty good stats there. And it says you may put a non-attack action card with Blood Debt from your graveyard on the bottom of your deck. Very interesting. It also has Blood Debt. So the card that you put on the bottom of your deck has to be in your graveyard and not your banished zone, which is kind of a bummer, but it is a good way to recycle some stuff. Has to be a non-attack action card. I mean, I can see this being good. It is an attack for the attacks for 4, which is also pretty good. And you can play it from your banish zone. Am I gonna put this in my chain deck though? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, this could be a good way to get back your legendary. It could be a good way to get back your legendary eclipse. So maybe, yeah, maybe if you're like all in on eclipse, this could be a good way to get back eclipse, because when you play it from your banish zone, it goes into your graveyard. So it helps kind of fuel that kind of stuff. But I don't know, man. I don't know. The yellow is 3 damage, and the blue, I don't have the blue here. I have 2 yellows. Anyway, the blue is 2 damage. Next up, we have Dimensional Gateway. This card's sweet. So this is a 2 defense card with a cost of 1. This is a Shadow Runeblade action. It says opt 3, which is great. You know, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck, put them back on the top of your deck or on the bottom. And then it says reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a Runeblade card, deal 1 arcane damage to each opposing hero. Each opposing hero. I love the multiplayer stuff. If it's a shadow card, you may banish it. Go again. That's pretty good. Lets you set up the top of your deck. You can also deal some damage, and you can also fuel some of your banish stuff. It only blocks for 2, which is kind of rough, but I think it's a pretty good like setup card. And I think you're gonna want cards like this. You're gonna want setup cards, because if you have only payoffs in your hand, you're gonna suck, man. It's gonna be real bad. I can imagine when you have like only your payoff cards, like only the cards that you can play from your banish zone that do like basically nothing, and then maybe you're like your eclipse, you're gonna have a hard time, man. It's gonna be rough. So I think cards like this could be quite good. So the yellow ops 2 and the blue ops 1, I think all of these are actually quite good. Just being able to opt for less isn't that much of a detriment. So I think the blues might be quite good, honestly, for this. Next up is Piercing Shadow Vice. The art is awesome. This is another Shadow Runeblade attack action. This is a common card. Defense of 3, attack of 4, cost of 2. That's rough. Those are not good stats. You can play it from your banish zone, so it doesn't have any special riders, like you have to do something to play it from your banish zone. You can just do that. And it says, if you have dealt arcane damage to an opposing hero this turn, it gains +2. So that's a little bit more of a better going rate. Like I said before, 6 attack for 2 is a much better going rate. It also has Blood Debt. Is this good? I don't think it's constructed good. I'm probably not going to be putting this in my chain deck. Is it good for limited? Yeah. I'll play this in limited all day long, man. Attacking for 6, blocking for 3. You have to be able to deal shadow damage to your opponent before you get that +2, which is a little rough. But you can always play it from your banish zone, which is pretty good. So I think it's all right. Like I said, we'll not play it in constructed. And then yellow is 3 and blue is 2, and ugh, gross. The blue's gross, man. Anyway, let's continue on. Next we have Riftbind. This card's sweet, if not just for the art, but I think it's actually pretty sweet too. So Riftbind is a Shadow Runeblade attack action with a defense of 3, costs 1, 3 attack. Once again, not great stats, but it gets better here, right? So it says, you may play Riftbind from your banish zone. If you do, it gains +X attack, where X is the number of non-attack action cards you have played this turn. Okay, so now we're getting spicy. We can play those, that seed cards, or basically any of the cards you can play from your banish zone that cost 0 or are instants. And you can play a whole bunch of them in a single turn and then drop a Riftbind, also from your banish zone, to deal an absurd amount of damage. And then maybe follow that up with your whatchamacallit, your like legendary card, right? Your eclipse. So I think Riftbind is good. I think Riftbind's good. I'm probably gonna end up playing with it in my Runeblade deck, my Shadow Runeblade deck. The yellow is 2 attack and the blue is 3 or 1 attack. Are these good as well? Maybe actually. Just being able to pitch for 3 is quite good, and just having the 2 attack reduction on the blue isn't that much of a detriment, because you can just, if you can play a lot of Blood Debts, a lot of cards from your banish zone, you can deal a lot of sweet stuff, do a lot of damage. They have to be non-attack action cards, but I still think it can be really sweet cards. Well, actually it says, hold on, it says non-attack action cards. I don't think instants, are instants non-attack action cards? They're not. They're not action cards. They're instants. So instants wouldn't work. They have to be specifically non-attack action cards. Okay. I talked myself out of it. I still think it's good. But it doesn't help with some of the instants. But I still think it's alright. Next up we have Rip Through Reality. Awesome artwork. Absolutely fantastic artwork on this card. Is it good? Well, let's find out. This is another Shadow Runeblade attack action with a defense of 3, attack of 4. This is the red pitch version. They all cost 2 to play. It says you can play it from your banner zone. Pretty good. If you have dealt arcane damage to an opposing hero this turn, it gains Go Again, and it has Blood Debt. Is a 4 attack, 2 cost card with Go Again good? I don't know about that. We already have cards that cost 0 that deal 4 damage, have 4 attack, and have Go Again. We have Scar for a Scar. We have Life for a Life, though Life for a Life costs 1 to play. We have a Ravenous Rabble. We have a lot of cards. We're spoiled for cards already that do something like this. But you can play it from your banner zone, and it has Blood Debt. And it blocks for 3. I don't know if I'll play this, I'll be honest. It costs 2 to play. I don't know. Maybe if I really need room. It seems alright. Getting Go Again's alright. But I don't know, man. I'm not sold on it. Yellow is 3, and the blue, which I don't have, the blue is 2 attack. Once again, not entirely sold on it, but maybe the red. If any of them, it's the red, but we'll see. Next up, oh, this card is sick. This card is absolutely sick. This is Carrion Husk, the first legendary equipment spoiled. This is a shadow equipment. So you can play it in Levia or you can play it in Chain, but you cannot play it in any other class. You cannot play this with Viscerai or any of the other classes. So only Levia and only Chain right now. It has a 6 defense, which is the most defense we've ever seen on an equipment so far. And it says, if you defend with Carrion Husk, banish it when the combat chain closes. At the end of your turn, if you have 13 or less life, banish Carrion Husk. And it also has Blood Debt. So the whole thing here is you want to block with it before you have 13 health or less, just so you can make use of that. And once you do, it starts eating away at your life. So basically, you want to make sure you can block 6 with this, and then at least, live 6 turns so you net on life. I think this card's actually going to be quite good in some of the decks. I think Levia in particular, I think this is really, really good for Levia. In Chain, I don't know. I don't know how good this is in Chain, to be honest. I like the other one a little bit better. The new Runeblade one a little bit better. And I also like, well, no, Bloodsheath Skeleton wouldn't be that great with Chain because Bloodsheath Skeleton relies on Rune Chance, and Chain doesn't really do well with Rune Chance unless you kind of build them to do Rune Chance. I don't know. I think you have options for Chain is what I'm saying. And I think for Levia, I think this one's really good for Levia. Because Levia already has a ton of cards that have like no defense on them at all. And Carrion Husk is all defense. So I do like this. I do think it'll see play. At the very least in your deck, so you can like side it in or choose to play it against certain heroes. I think it's good. I think it'll see play. It's a freaking legendary and the art is awesome. Next up we have, okay, so here we have a Doomsday and Eclipse. So I included these here because we're going to talk about the tokens that they make. So we're to come back to these two, right? Doomsday and Eclipse, we've talked about them before, but we've finally seen what the tokens do. The tokens are going to be at the end of all the shadow cards. So how far away? A little bit away. Let's talk about Shadow Puppetry first. So Shadow Puppetry is a 0 cost shadow action, so it can go in either Levia or Chain. And it says the next attack action card you play this turn gains +1, Go Again, and if this attack hits, look at the top card of your deck, you may banish it. It isn't just an action that also has Go Again. This card is super good. I think this card's super good. It's just a 0 cost, pump up your next attack action card. It literally pumps up any attack action card, not just other shadow attack action cards. And also you get to look at the top card of your deck, and if you choose, you can banish it. Either for Levia or for Chain. I keep calling him Shane. Chain to pump up either of the abilities. It only defends for 2, but it costs 0. So I think this card's really good. I'm probably going to play this with Chain, for sure. For Levia, yeah, I mean, just giving your next attack action this turn Go Again is super good. This card's super good. If you're running Chain or Levia, you're going to run this card. This card's amazing. Next up, we have Soul Reaping. So this is what I was alluding to. Super weird, right? So we saw Bolton's specializations, right? And they were not legendary. Not in terms of rarity, nor in terms of mechanic. Well, here we have Soul Reaping, which is a chain specialization, but it's a legendary chain specialization, which means you can only have one of them in your deck. Which seems... I don't know, man. Why? Like, it's not that much better than the Bolton specializations. In fact, it might be worse than the Bolton specializations. I'm very curious as to why they did this. I assume it's for balancing reasons or maybe flavor, but dude, I have no idea. So anyway, let's talk about the card, right? So Soul Reaping is a shadow attack action with a defensive 3, costs 6 to play, and it has a 6 attack. I love the 6/6 right there. That's cool. It also says you may banish one or more cards from your hand rather than pay Soul Reaping's cost. If you do, gain a resource for each card with blood debt banished this way. While Soul Reaping is attacking a hero with one or more cards in their soul, it has Go Again. The key thing you should note here is that it says you may banish one or more cards from your hand rather than pay its cost, which means if you do at least one of these things, if you banish at least one card from your hand, you do not have to pay for its cost at all. So if you have another card in your hand, it's basically a 6 attack for free, which is good. You know, that's pretty good, right? That's almost on Enlightened Strike levels, right? Because Enlightened Strike lets you tuck a card from your hand, put it on the bottom of your deck for 7 damage. This is not quite that good, right? It's not as good as Enlightened Strike because Enlightened Strike also costs 0, card on the bottom, you can do 7. However, this card also has the ability to gain Go Again, which is pretty good, right? And this card can also generate resources for you. So you gain resources for each card with blood debt banished that way. So it's kind of a risky thing. Chain wants a lot of cards with blood debt in his banner zone so he can play them. But he might take a lot of damage as well. If you're playing with, if you're attacking a hero with cards in their soul, getting Go Again is really, really good. I mean, that's really what you want to do because you want to be able to give this Go Again and then use those resources. So I think this card's good. Maybe they just only reduced it, like made it legendary because of power levels, because of like, you know, it generates resources and that's kind of a busted thing. I don't know. I mean, I haven't played with Chain yet. I don't know exactly how busted this is, but on the surface level, it doesn't look quite as good as Enlightened Strike, and it doesn't look quite as good as that new card, the Celestial Cataclysm. That's basically Enlightened Strike with Go Again tacked onto it. So, I don't know, man. I think it's good. I'm definitely going to be playing with it. But did it really need to be legendary? Maybe. Maybe it did. Maybe it did. Anyway, let's continue on. I think this card's good. Let's continue on. Next up, we have Howl from Beyond. So I'm pretty sure that's the name of a Magic card. I think I distinctly remember Howl from Beyond. Anyway, the art in this card is absolutely gross. It says it's a shadow action with a 2 defense. This is the red pitch version. Has a cost of 2. It says you may play Howl from Beyond from your banner zone. The next attack action card you play this turn gains +3, Go Again, and Blood Debt. This seems pretty good, but it's a pretty resource intensive card, right? Costs 2 to play. Being able to play it from your banner zone is great. Pumping up your next attack action card is also great. I think this card has the potential to be really good, both in Chain and in Levia. So yeah, I think this card's possibly quite good. We also have the yellow, which is the same thing but +2 attack, and then the blue, which is the same thing and +1 attack. Being able to play it from your banner zone is just super good. So I think this card's super good. I don't know how much you want in your decks if you do play it. Maybe you're just running the reds to you know give you some of that go tall. But I mean, I can see you not playing it at all if you want to go super wide with Chain. Maybe it's only going to be for Levia, because Levia feels like she's going to be more of a go tall. But who knows? I mean, it could be great. Next up we have, okay, so here we go. This is one of our first token cards. So this is a Shadow Token Demon Ally. This is Blasmafet, the Soul Harvester. It has an attack of 6 and a 6 life. It's an ally. It says allies can be attacked but can't be defended with defense. They are destroyed when they have taken damage equal to their life. At the end of the turn, heal all damage dealt to Blasmafet. So basically, you need to deal 6 damage to this card to destroy it, but your opponent can't defend with it or defend it. So like, say your opponent played this, right? And you can do like a command and conquer. You can just kill it. They can't defend it, which is, you know, it makes it a little bit more balanced. But we'll talk about whether this is going to be worth it, you know. So how do you even get this? What does this even do, right? So it has a once per turn attack action, or once per turn action for a cost of 0 attack, and it has an attack of 6. So that basically gives you a free attack of 6 every single turn. That's pretty good. Does not have go again though. It does say, whenever Blasmaphet attacks, you may banish a shadow card from your hand. If you do, you may banish a card from the defending hero's soul. So this, he definitely has like, you know, an anti-light hero soul kind of thing. Blasmaphet is the card that is made from Doomsday, the Levia specialization. And Doomsday is a pretty easy one to pull off compared to Eclipse, I think. Doomsday costs 0. It's an instant. Legendary Levia specialization. Play Doomsday only if there are 6 or more cards with Blood Debt in your banish zone. Create a Blasmaphet, the Soul Harvester token. So you cannot play this card from your banish zone. You have to play this card from your hand, but I think it's really easy to put cards into your banish zone with Levia. So if you draw this card and you've been doing the deck the way it's going to be built to be done, you can get Blasmaphet fairly easy, I think. Is it worth it? I think it's worth it, because I don't think it's that hard to pull off, to be honest. We'll see if it is. You know, I'm going to eat my words. I'm going to try to do it. I'm definitely going to try to do it. And I'm definitely going to play with it, because I think this is cool. I think this is awesome, by the way. I think this card is super awesome. But I'm very curious to see how good it's going to be. I think it's going to be pretty good, especially against decks that can't deal a lot of damage in a single turn. Like against, like, I don't know, like attacks that do like a lot of chip damage and stuff, like maybe like Ninja and stuff. This could be amazing. This could be really amazing, because it could be hard for them to deal 6 damage all in one turn. Especially if you're doing a lot of pressure and they can't swing back. I think it's not as good against decks that have single cards that deal a lot of damage, right? So if your opponent's running a lot of Command and Conquer type stuff, it might not be as good. But it might be really good. It might be really hard for them to kill. But if they are running Command and Conquer type stuff, it might not be as good. So yeah, I think it's great. I don't think it's going to be game ending on the spot, but I think it's going to put your opponent in a really tough situation for sure. Next up, we have Ursa, the Soul Reaper. This card is also really freaking cool. This is a shadow token demon ally. Same thing, 6 attack, 6 health. Same kind of effect with the allies. Once per turn action for a 0 cost to attack. But Ursa's a little more interesting. He says, when Ursa is attacking a hero with 1 or more cards in their soul, the attack has go again, which is really sweet. So being able to attack multiple times in a turn, so leading off with Ursa and then going into more shenanigans is super good. So this one is the one for Chain. This is the Shadow Runeblade one. And I think it really, you know, fits with Chain, because you want to do a lot of things in a turn, and being able to go again is just super good. Eclipse, though, is the hardest one to play. And it says, play Eclipse only if you have played 6 or more cards with Blood Debt this turn. If you have, you may play Eclipse from your banish zone. Create an Ursa the Soul Reaper token. So you just need to play a ton of cards with Blood Debt. They have to be cards with Blood Debt. Doesn't matter where you play them from. They can be played from your banish zone. They can be played from your hand. They can be played from your arsenal. But you just have to play 6 of them. And if you do, you can play Eclipse from your banish zone, which is also really good. So I like that a lot, because I think you're going to want to start banishing a ton of cards with Chain. And you don't want to banish too many cards, because you're going to kill yourself. But you want to banish a good number of cards. And you want Eclipse to be in that batch that's banished, right? And then you want to just combo off, playing like a bunch of them as instants, a bunch of them with go again, just playing them all in one turn with a big pool of cards in your banish zone. Maybe like 10 plus cards in your banish zone. With like a full grip of cards, just pitching and playing all these cards. And then finishing it all up with an Eclipse. Or rather, maybe finishing it all up with a Mutated Mass, or that card we talked about, the Riftbind. So you can finish all up with a really big Riftbind, and then a really big or a really big Mutated Mass, and then dropping your Eclipse, because Eclipse is an instant. If you do it that way, then you would not be able to have an action point, because you know the final card will have used the action point, and you won't have an action point left over. So Ursa would not be able to attack that turn. But I still think it could be just a really, really good turn. Just playing a ton of cards that pump up attacks and all that kind of stuff from your banish zone. You know, even one of the cards we talked about before. Let's go back again to the Shadow of Ursa. You know, you can play it from your banish zone. It costs 0, and you can also give it go again. So this is the kind of stuff you want to play, right? You want to play like multiple Shadows of Ursa, multiple copies of other cards you can play from your banish zone that have go again. All that kind of stuff. But they all have to have Blood Debt. And I'm definitely going to be making this deck. I think it's going to be really fun. I'm definitely going to kill myself. But that's going to be the name of the game, man. Power at any cost. And yeah, I'm really excited for that. And I think Ursa the Soul Reaper, man, is going to be really sweet. I just want to play them. I just want to get him on the field. I want to get Ursa on the field. It's going to be awesome. Anyway, let's continue on. We're talking enough about Ursa. He's cool, though. Next up, we have Frontline Scout. Actually, a pretty interesting card. So this is a generic attack action. Defense of 2, attack of 3, cost of 0. And it says, you may look at the defending hero's hand. If Frontline Scout is played from Arsenal, it gains Go Again. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. You know why this is good? Because there's a card called Chains of Eminence, where you get to name a card and your opponent can't play that card or do anything with that card on the next turn. And you know what? This lets you see your opponent's hand. So this is going to make it so your Chains of Eminence always hits, which is super sweet. And I already really like Chains of Eminence. I run it in my Viserai control deck. So I think this could be good. I don't think this will be good in my Viserai control deck. I think this is better in like a Ranger deck or something like that, where you can more easily play it from your arsenal. But I still think this is quite good. I think it's really fun too. So we have a red 3 attack. And then we haven't seen the other ones, or maybe we have. I think maybe the yellow is 2 attack and the blue is 1 attack. Next up, we have Warmonger's Recital. So this is a generic action with a defense of 2. This is the red pitch version, cost of 1. And it says the next attack action card you play this turn gains +3, and if it hits, put it on the bottom of your deck. Go again. So this is very interesting. It's kind of like Drone of Brutality a little bit, but it's not as oppressive as Drone of Brutality. It does give you ways to put cards back on the bottom of your deck to like just continue on. So this is kind of a card that's good for like long grindy matchups, basically. Is it good? Maybe. I mean, one resource for 3 attack is pretty good. Putting on the bottom of your deck is also pretty good, but it's not selling me too much. I think it's all right. I think it might see play if you really, really want this effect. And then the yellow is 2 attack, and then the blue is 1 attack. Next up, and I think this is the last card we have, is Talisman of Dowsing. This card is weird. The card is weird, and I like it. So this is a generic action item with a cost of 0. It has a yellow pitch. It says, items stay in the arena until they are destroyed. Go again. And also has Spell Void 1, which means if your hero would be dealt arcane damage, you can destroy Talisman of Dowsing instead. If you do prevent 1 arcane damage, that source would deal. So it's, I don't know if this card's good at all. 0 cost, go again with Spell Void. Is it good? People don't even play the Rested Relic. People don't even play the Rested Relic. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not really sold on the Talisman of Dowsing. It doesn't even have any defense. Is it a meme card? It might just be a meme card. It might be good in some decks, right? Because the fact that you don't have to pay any resources for this at all, like just at all, could be good. But I don't know, man. I'm not seeing it. I'm gonna give the Talisman of Dowsing official meme status. Potential play, but I'm gonna give it the meme status for now. And then we're back to Sir Bolton, Breaker of Dawn, who's awesome. So yeah, that's gonna be the spoiler video for today. We had a lot of cards to talk about, so today's video was a lot longer than normal. Monarch is shaping up to be absolutely amazing. I cannot wait to play this set. Cannot wait to build decks. Cannot wait to play in the pre-release. So if you're watching this far, I'm going to tell you what some of my plans are for the pre-release. So I'm going to be going to the pre-release. And the way we're doing at the pre-release, where I live, is we're going to collect our packs, and then we're going to build the decks at home and then do like a webcam kind of thing. So I'm not going to record my webcam games, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to record me making the deck and opening up the packs, and then I'll talk about my matches afterwards. So it's all going to be one video, right? Opening up the packs, making the deck, and then talking about how I did, all in one video. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun, man. I think it's going to be so much fun. I'm so stoked. I'm so stoked. And I hope you are too, man. I hope you are too. Monarch is shaping up to be amazing. Let me know in the comments down below your thoughts on all the cards talked about today. We got Sir Bolton. We got the tokens, Blasmafet and Ursa. We got the Carrion Husk. We got, what's the other one I was really excited about? The Ursa one. The Shadow of Ursa. Oh, Shadow of Ursa is really cool. And the Dimensional Crossroads is really janky and weird. Awesome stuff today. But yeah, leave a like, comment, subscribe. I greatly appreciate it. Maybe check out my Patreon if you'd like to support me directly. But regardless of what you do, I will see you next time for some more meme Flesh and Blood content. Not really. We're gonna do some more card discussions and more talk about Monarch. I'm really excited for it. So have a good one all. I'll see you later.